What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Sam the Beard Guy channel. Today we are upgrading from this to this. This is the Electro-Voice RE20. Sweetwater sent over to me to check out. I've been needing a microphone upgrade for a while. I've been using the Shure MV7 mic, which is like a baby SM7B, and there's nothing wrong with the MV7 at all, but I just wanted something that was a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger. Just fixed up some issues that I had with the way kind of a cheaper microphone responds to certain frequency ranges and so forth. And so super pumped to have this. As always, like, share, comment, you know, it's helpful. Go follow me on Instagram. I have albums on Spotify. I have tutorial courses on my website. But today, that doesn't matter because we're checking out the RE20. So this is a large diaphragm dynamic microphone, perfect for these types of, you know, speaking things like making YouTube videos or broadcast or podcast or whatever. You see a lot of RE20s and you see a lot of SM7Bs. We'll kind of talk about the comparison between those two microphones here in a bit. This is a large diaphragm dynamic, cardioid, so 180 degrees. If you don't know what cardioid is, it's just one of the many types of microphone polar patterns to pick up where the noise comes from frequency response. And so I'll throw a graph up of the frequency response on the RE20. But when I think of this compared to the SM7B, the RE20 just has a little bit more high-end information. In the SM7B or the SM7DB, if you get the new one, which doesn't need the cloud lifter, but you pay for having it built in. Anyways, and the SM7B just has a little bit more warm and kind of boomy bottom end sound compared to the RE20. And so I'll, kind of put two frequency graphs of the SM7B and the RE20 for you to check out. But when I think of like microphones I would see on a broadcast or microphones that I would see on a video game stream or, just in a lot of talking environments specifically. These are great mics for many things, but when I think of broadcast speaking microphones, I think of the RE20 and the SM7B. Those are the two, I think, most common microphones I see. And so the way I would kind of say, hey, should I get the RE20 or should I get the SM7B, is if you have a lower voice, because there's more high-end detail and information in the RE20. If you have a lower voice, kind of like mine, the RE20 is great because you're gonna get some of the high-end detail to really just kind of add air to your lower voice. If you have a higher pitched voice, like either as a guy or you're a female and you just have a high pitched voice, the SM7B could be a great microphone for you just because you're gonna get a little bit of a warmer sound. And the one thing that the SM7B does that the RE20 doesn't do is proximity effect. So most of the time, proximity effect is a thing you don't want to have to deal with because you're going to get pops and booms, any P sounds, any like wind moving across the mic is going to add just things that you have to remove in post. The SM7B has those. Typically, they're not a desired thing. You don't usually want proximity effect of, closer and closer you get to the mic, you just introduce more proximity effect. But the SM7B has proximity effect. It's a naturally occurring phenomenon, so it's not like they're adding it in. If anything, they're just not removing it. So if you have a higher pitched voice and you want to be able to dig into the mic to add like low frequencies and just warmness, you're able to. The thing that I love about the the RE20 is there is no proximity effect on these microphones. They are using something called variable D technology. I don't know what that is. I don't even think they tell you what it is, but it makes the proximity effect. I don't think they completely eliminate it. It says it's immune. I would imagine it's one of those like, this soap kills 99.9% of germs. I don't know if it can get rid of all of it, but it says it gets rid of all of it. So maybe it's just 99.9% of it. But the RE20 is immune. I'll use their language. They're immune to proximity effect. And so I love that because one of the things I hate doing after making videos and just editing in post is getting rid of deplosives. The plosives is just the plug-in or the method in which you get rid of pops and booms. I hate doing that. It only takes 30 seconds, but it's so nice that I don't have to do that anymore. Another great feature of this thing, I know I mentioned the cloud lifter, but I didn't specifically say this thing doesn't need a cloud lifter. So on the old SM7B, not even the old SM7B, on the SM7B, you need what's called a cloud lifter, which is just kind of an inline gain stage thing that you put after your microphone to just send even more volume to the interface or preamp that you're using. It's really annoying, but most of the time when you see an SM7B, you see a cloud lifter with it. There are some interfaces or preamps that can handle that type of gain, but it needs like 60 dB plus of gain to get going. I'm at like 40 dB, 45 dB on this, and I think I'm actually running it a little hot. I'm hoping I'm not clipping when I go to edit this, but I'm only running at 45. The SM7B needs 60 to 70 just to get you into a good recording range. Not every interface can do that, and so you typically need a cloud lifter, or you get the SM7DB, which has the cloud lifter built in, like I already said. But with the RE20, you don't need any of that, and the RE20, as of shooting this video, is only $449, or the SM7DB is $499, so it's a little bit more expensive. And then the SM7B is $400, but $400 for the SM7B, you're spending $100 on a cloud lifter. So the RE20 is the cheaper of these options. Not enough of a difference where I think you should get this just because it's cheaper. Get the microphone that works best for your voice. But yeah. A few other things to, talk about, which I'm just going to read these from the Sweetwater website, just so I sound better, because sometimes I struggle with words. But the RE20 has an acoustic alloy diaphragm in combination with an exceptionally low-mass aluminum voice coil. RE20 is capable of reproducing extremely high sound pressure levels with no fear of overload and distortion. Often experienced with phantom-powered condensers, the RE20 will also continue to function flawlessly in high humidity and elevated temperatures. A massive steel housing and effective humbucking coil assure the RE20's resistance to magnetically induced hum and noise. This means the RE20 can be used successfully in situations where other microphones would experience unacceptable levels of hum and buzz. By exploiting the strength of its steel housing and employing mechanical nesting concept, EV designers have created an exceptionally rugged microphone with superior handling, noise rejection. So the noise rejection thing is not as important to me, because if you just have a clean environment, I mean, I guess unless it's talking about like ACs and stuff, if it's talking about like power noise and whatever, that's not as big of a deal to me. That's more of a worst case scenario. I have something that helps with that, but I don't typically have that issue. But being able to handle extremely high pressure amounts of volume is super helpful, just so you don't clip the microphone. So yeah. The only other things worth mentioning, this mic is really heavy. I'm probably gonna have to get either a new arm or a new mount. This really isn't the right mount for this microphone, so I'm gonna have to figure out something, because this thing just pulls on my mic stand in a very unnatural way. And so I need to figure that out. I got it into a position where it works by kind of just tilting it in a little bit, but it is a little heavy, so I think I need to get a stronger mic arm. And then there's really only one switch on this thing, and it's a bass roll-off switch. So if you want to rein in your low frequencies, you can. I don't ever do that, just because I want all the information there when I mix it afterwards, but there's no right or wrong reason to use or not use a bass roll-off feature. But yeah, this is the RE20. I love this thing. This thing works on a lot of different instruments. It's a great vocal mic. You can use it in any situation where you would use a dynamic microphone. This is going to work really, really well. You've probably seen these in gray. Also, I specifically asked for the black one just because gray kind of looks funky to me. I like, it's not even that it's not that I like black a ton. It's just gray is such a dumb color. Like, what's the point in gray? I don't get why gray is like a thing. I just don't get it. So anyways, that's the RE20. Love this microphone. Definitely worth checking out if you're, looking to just upgrade from kind of a budget-friendly entry option to a more professional sounding, broadcasty, dynamic microphone type of microphone. Again, I keep talking about this in the, broadcast sense. This thing works for a ton of different uses. I love this thing, so make sure to go check it out.